And you'll notice you have the same feature set underneath, but you have a series of buttons on the bottom of the frame. So by touching the bottom of the frame, you can now select the features that you would like. So you'll see we have return, move to the left, move to the right, and enter on there. So right now, if I would like to move between features, and if I want to return one screen, I push return, and I'm back to the screen. Oh, I hit it twice. But here we go, we're back again. Just another example of how to control. And if I'd like to enter, I press the button under the check mark, and it takes us into that screen. So you have two sets of controls. One is underneath on the frameless. So to talk a little bit more about these mirrors today, you're gonna notice they look a lot alike. Basically, the differences that we get into is you have two models with an internal camera, and then we have two models with the external camera. Now, this camera, again, can be used on a windscreen, front or rear on the car, or on the front windshield with the front windshield bracket. When we talk about the internal camera, and we talk about the external cameras, on the front of the mirror, we have this camera right here. Now this camera is a true, real 4K camera. There's some other cameras on the market that really don't reach the level that this does. This is an 8.3 megapixel front camera. The internal camera that you have is a 720p camera, and don't forget, you have built-in automatic IR. So at nighttime, when it gets dark, it picks up the ambient light in the vehicle and turns on the IR. So you still have a clear, true black and white picture at 720p. Second model is frameless with an outside or a rear camera. Now you have the option of 3 cameras to cover everything: front, rear, and interior. We talk a little bit about the controls as we go through. Now I'm using the frameless model, so my buttons are on the bottom. But as we move through the screens here, we can go through and set up our playback mode, or turn our Wi-Fi on and off to be able to connect to our phone, built-in GPS, the status of our GPS, our speed for recording. Would we want that speed to be in kilometers or in miles per hour, depending on where you are? Let's change it to miles per hour. Goes back, and we keep rolling to the next screen. Time zone select, clock settings, multiple languages available, your timestamp, the movie mode, exposure for brightness. Here's the LED power save, what I was talking about. If we go in here, you can select off, 1 minute or 3 minutes. You can even shut off that beep. And we hit return, and it takes us right back out to the screen. You'll notice there's also indicators on the screen to let you know your Wi-Fi is off, your GPS is off, you have an SD card built in, and it's recording and the time and date while it's displayed. And now I shut it off and I'm back to driving as normal. Let's talk about mounting the mirror. One of the challenges out there is not all cars use the exact same mount. This one that you see here is a standard tombstone mount. It's used in Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, Jeep vehicles, and it has been for years and years. But what if you have a vehicle that is different? What's available are different mounts for the back of the mirror. Now this is a 2-ball mount, meaning that this will adjust at both the front and the rear, giving you a lot of flexibility for space. There are special mounts made for, say, Nissan vehicles, some short stubby mounts for Fords, Mercedes, just about every vehicle out. So there's 2 ways to do this. One is to actually replace the entire mount that goes on the mirror, or with an adapter. So this is the F1 mount, and basically what we're doing, there's a Phillips head screw in here. We're going to drop it into the mirror, run our screwdriver in, and tighten the mount up into the mirror. Once you do that, it's attached right to the mirror. The other way you can do this is there are adapters. To give you an example, for a Mercedes Sprinter van, there's an adapter that goes on the windshield itself, and then this piece will slip right onto that. So you have two ways of making sure you have the right fit. One is by ordering a different leg base to go onto the windscreen. Two is to have the adapters available. Okay, we're in the shop and we have a camera here. The camera can be used three different ways: externally with the bracket, on a front windscreen with a bracket, or on the rear windscreen with a bracket. When you receive the camera will be mounted in the rear windscreen bracket. To remove the camera, there's two small Phillips head screws in the bracket, and it comes with a screwdriver. Remove the Phillips head screws and then slide the camera from the bracket. You'll notice the two holes on the back of the bracket. Next, you want to take the same two screws that you removed and attach this bracket to the back of the camera using the two screws. The holes will line up and then you're ready to go.